Hi everyone, Jim Egan, head of school, Stand Up School with a Friday update. We are going into a small little break here in October. September is a very long month for teachers, particularly those of us in schools that started in August. And teachers come back here at the beginning of August. So we've made it through September. We're now into October, although it feels like August here in Menlo Park. It feels warm. We have a little break, and then we sort of head into the final frontier of trimester one into portfolio day. But today we had a professional development day. Teachers are working in teams on curriculum, but most importantly, they're focusing on our foundation here at Synapse, and that's SEL, social and emotional learning. That is the underpinning of all that we do. We want kids to understand who they are so they can help others be their best self. And by understanding their emotional landscape and what makes them tick and having some vocabulary around that, kids can then really maximize their learning, right? You have to feel safe, secure, you have to know who you are before you can really dig into any content. We believe that. Research shows that. And so we had a session this morning early. We came together, we gathered as a group to look at language, communication, and what that means through the lens of SEL. How do we better communicate with kids, with each other? And we went through a variety of exercises that was led by May, our director of SEL. And I started the morning with a little story, and I wanted to share it here about belonging and being noticed, right? Because sometimes we think of SEL as a standalone program, right? We teach SEL in this way. Lots of schools do that. It's great. That's one avenue, right? Teaching of SEL skills in a class, or having a push-in teacher or a specialist. We have a number of them. They push in. That's fine too. We train teachers around this language. That's fine too. All of that matters, but what also matters is just simply noticing a student and then taking action. And so I read in The Atlantic an article that revolved around this week's Jewish holiday, Sukkot, right? And the article is called "When You're Not in Control of Your Life." This week's Jewish holiday reminds us that the line between our success and failure is thinner and more fragile than we like to think. And the author, he goes into a story that isn't it is life-changing, but it isn't sort of a cinematic in its framing. And he talks about a teacher in 7th grade that changed his life. This was Dr. Friedman, is the teacher's name. And in his story, the author was a good student, but he would, in history class, have trouble finishing tests. And the reason he had trouble finishing the tests is he had difficulty with handwriting. It wasn't that he didn't know the answers, he just didn't have the ability to write fast enough. And this teacher noticed, because when the tests would go in and the assessments would go in, there would always be blanks, right? But his grades were really, really high. But they weren't perfect, because it appeared to the teacher that something must be going on. The teacher was right, asked the student what was going on, and he said, "Hey, I'm having trouble finishing because I have trouble with handwriting." Teacher said, "I have an idea. Why not type?" The boy, now journalist, said, "Okay," and this changed his life. This teacher's noticing and then acting changed this person's life. This person, as he says here, the difference wasn't between passing and failing, it was between a 95 and a perfect score. Most teachers would understandably have left me to my own devices and focused their attention on students with bigger problems. But Dr. Friedman noticed, right? That's the key. He noticed. This sent this journalist in a totally different trajectory, and because he typed and didn't have to print his homework assignments or his assessments, he had no trouble finishing and improving his score even that little bit more, which led him to what he feels a different life. And his thesis here isn't that he was special, it's that thin line between flourishing and failure, right? And that's the theme of the holiday. That's a thin line, and individuals have an impact. And that's what we believe at Synapse. This is hard to quantify. It's hard to put into a curriculum, but that noticing and then that acting and communicating in an effective way is what is really underneath all that we do here at Synapse for kids and each other. That's the value proposition. That's what you, as parents and teachers, actually, that's what you get by coming here. That's why you're here. That's what you sign up for. And that's something that we believe is essential to any learning, right? That we first get to understand who the students are, teach them to understand who they are, and then notice as we go. That's all I've got to say today. Have a great long weekend. Enjoy yourself, and then we'll see you next week. Take care.